Hello everybody, James here. I was thinking of doing videos about WWE bringing back the house shows or Tony Khan's AEW apparently having issues with television rights deals coming in 2027, but I could not deny myself the opportunity to talk about perhaps the dumbest, apparently real-life feud that is brewing on the convention circuit between Ray Apollo and Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler, in regards to which late middle-aged man should be allowed to dress up as a clown and hawk autographs and photos on conventions. Yes, in 2026, one of the 400 people who played Doink the Clown in WWE, Ray Apollo, is affronted that another person who also played Doink the Clown in WWE, Steve Lombardi, aka the Brooklyn Brawler, has also done appearances as of recent while made up as Doink the Clown. Let's go to the clown himself for an explanation. Ray Apollo, that is.
Hey, wrestling fans, it's been brought to my attention there's another guy running around trying to be me. Well, it doesn't work. Often imitated, never duplicated. There's only one, the one and only, Doink the Clown. Now, as far as the wrestling business, some of us had to work to get where we are, and some of us got there other ways. And Lombardi, I know you had a friend in the office. His name was Mr. Patterson. He helped you along a lot of ways.
So, I've been spending quite a long time writing about it, and I don't know why I'm finding it even funnier now. I can't, my eyes are watering because I'm trying not to laugh through. Boy howdy, is there a lot to unpack there, not least because he sounds like he just ate a denim jacket. For starters, I love the idea that Ray Apollo is in... You're probably asking yourself, who's Ray Apollo? He was one of the many people who played Doink the Clown, right, in 94, 95. He's in full circus regalia while sending a threatening message to a fellow colleague. He's got the whole thing going on here. I'm just gonna find the picture again. Here we go. He's in the full deal going on. He's got the green wig. He's got his face painted white, his lips red, his teeth yellow. He means fucking business, this guy. He should have been doing balloon animals at the same time to really drive the point home. And speaking of wigs, in fact, I also appreciate that the Doink over the years has aged gracefully, not only gaining considerable weight, but Doink has also gone bald. No green comb over for this clown, let me tell you. And here's the weird thing: it's and it has progressed over the years. This deal, because originally Doink had an afro. And then a couple of months later, he ends up with this kind of Art Garfunkel thing going on here. Back to the 2020s again. And all of a sudden, he's a Norwood 7. Anyway, the creepiest clown since John Wayne Gacy opens his trap and says words, as you all just heard there. And they are all ridiculous words, especially coming from the source dressed how he is. First off, Ray Apollo claims that he's often imitated, never duplicated, and that there's only one Doink. Now, this could develop into an alternative plot for Highlander. There can only be one. You vanquish your foes, squirting them with water until one of them, then, I don't even know. I guess the winner gets to trawl New Jersey conventions every weekend trying to hawk photos. But let's get this straight. Ray Apollo is not the original Doink. He's not even the second Doink. He's not even the third Doink the Clown. The original Doink the Clown was played by Matt Bourne. He was excellent in the role as a heel evil clown when he debuted in 1992. And that's against all odds, by the way, because the character was among the stupidest characters in wrestling history, and he still managed to get it over to an extent. Not to the extent that you could explain the Doink the Clown character with a straight face to your non-wrestling loving parents, but over enough that it somehow made some semblance of sense in the first year in the wrestling storytelling bubble. Steve Kern actually played the second Doink at WrestleMania 9, by the way.
I'm seeing double here.
4 Crusties.
Doink. That was actual footage from WrestleMania 9, by the way. Now, at some point at the end of 1993, when Matt Bourne was either suspended or fired or whatever, Brooklyn Brawler Steve Lombardi ended up donning the not-so-baggy pants and performing as Doink the Clown on house shows leading up to either Survivor Series or middle of December, wherever it is. There's differing opinions on when actually Ray Apollo actually took over the role, but what is for certain is that it was Matt Bourne and then Steve Lombardi on house shows, then Ray Apollo, who may have been a friend of Bam Bam Bigelow, and that's how he got the gig. But the point is that Matt Bourne was caught smoking the Chiba. Bam Bam Bigelow didn't like him, dobbed him into Vince McMahon, got him fired. Anyway, so why was Ray Apollo picked? I don't know, other than maybe it was just a friend of Bam Bam's. Maybe it's because he just fit the smelly, sweaty, smoky, sticky clown suit that was left behind, which is also the real reason why Paul Diamond ended up performing as Max Moon, taking over from Conan, is because he fit the suit. Anyway, Ray Apollo was at least the 4th person to wrestle as Doink the Clown in WWF at the time, which makes it kind of rich that he claims that there's only one, that he is the one and only, never duplicated, I guess. Surely he has the self-awareness. I can't tell if he's being serious. I mean, how can you tell when he's dressed as a clown? But I can't tell if he's got any self-awareness whatsoever with the statement that he's making. But then again, we are also talking about, I guess, a portly, windswept pensioner whose makeup is drawn on too big for his face, working himself into a shoot over another guy who played Doink the Clown before him. Anyway, let's not forget that the fans also hated Ray Apollo's version of Doink the Clown. The "Kill the Clown" chant was real, and it was the original Die Rocky Die 2 years before The Rock ever turned up in WWE. And then Apollo also claimed that he made it into the wrestling business because he worked hard, which is, if it's true that he got the Doink gig because he had a friend in the WWF in Bam Bam Bigelow, but then he turns around and says, yeah, well, Steve Lombardi got there other ways. I wasn't a favour hire, but he was. And then he brings up the whole Pat Patterson rumours as well. Before I think I did see somewhere, so this must be the homophobic Doink the Clown version. Anyway, before the best bit is when he kind of like insinuates the Pat Patterson thing, and then he walks off, leaving us with just a shot of the hotel door that he got this preposterous promo in front of in the first place. Now, we all know the rumours of Pat Patterson and Steve Lombardi. A million wrestlers have said it on interviews over the years, and the bearskin rug and whatnot. Steve has always denied these claims, by the way. I just want to absolutely make that one clear. All I can say is this. Pat Patterson retired from the WWF in 1992. It was a forced retirement because of the Ring Boy scandal. Anyway, Lombardi remained a WWF WWE employee for the next 24 years, making it a total of 33 years straight that he was employed by Vince McMahon. If Steve was not good at his job in one way or another, let's say even if he was a favour hire back in 1983, he wouldn't have remained with the company for the same, as soon he would have been gone as soon as Pat retired as well. I just think it's a line from a lazy, bitter, long-forgotten ex-WWE employee who wants to point the finger at anybody but themselves for why they didn't make it in wrestling over the long term, but blame the office favour or whatever it is. And Steve was hardly main eventing WrestleMania, can I say, when he was doing Doink the Clown or Brooklyn Brawler or the baseball Abe Knuckleball Schwartz or Kimchi he was as well. He was losing matches at the bottom of the card, doing any number of different wacky characters that I just mentioned, and also acting as a production assistant backstage. He wasn't exactly George Goulas here. Now, I'm also fairly sure that WWE still owns the Doink gimmick that Ray is co-opting, and I'm going to suggest here, probably without permission. So why Ray is claiming a character he doesn't own, didn't create, that was actually Road Warrior Hawk who suggested it originally, and then didn't even perform before the guy he's trying to make fun of, is a really bizarre indictment on the level of delusion that some people out there have, I guess, not just in the wrestling business, but in general, and how protective certain people are over the scraps of currency that the occasional fan might throw their way if they see them at a convention circuit, which I can't imagine is a lot for, you know, one weekend's work. I get 1 week work standing there. That being said, I've never wanted to see a geriatric Doink the Clown versus Doink the Clown more in my entire life. Big floppy shoes on a pole match, I don't care what it is. Book it for Saudi Arabia, WrestleMania next year. And if you don't think that Saudi Arabia wouldn't do it, they tried to book a dead Yokozuna and a dead Ultimate Warrior. Nothing is off the table. Now, hey, there's truly a one-ring circus, is pro wrestling. But anyway, the one thing I was thinking of watching this is, boy, did you think that Bret Hart took himself seriously? You should get a load more on that video. But anyway, in case you wanted to know, other people during Ray Apollo's run who portrayed Doink the Clown included no less than 3 separate enhancement talents, jobbers in the WWF at the time: Dusty Wolf, Mark Starr, and Ace Darling, as well as Steve Lombardi himself, because he was portraying Doink in 1995 on house shows at the same time Ray Apollo was on, like, the A show or the B show or whatever it was. So, here's the other thing. Steve Lombardi portrayed Doink the Clown officially on WWE television after Ray was released, with multiple appearances on WWE television, even wrestling as Doink as late as 2012 against Heath Slater. So to clarify, a knockoff of a knockoff is complaining that the original knockoff, who has performed the character before him, during his run, and after him in official capacity, is stealing their gimmick, which I heavily suspect they do not own, and I absolutely know they did not come up with. If you ask me, of all the living Doinks out there, it's just as much, if not more, Steve Lombardi's than anybody else's at this point to go on these clown convention, well, not clown convention circuits, well, wrestling convention circuits, but, you know, I guess sometimes you find it hard to make the difference out there. But yeah, this might be my favourite thing, and also the stupidest thing that I've ever seen in at least 2026, and as far back as I can remember. It's wonderful, and I hope this feud continues. Anyway, that is the history of this doink on doink violence has got to stop, or it's got to continue and escalate. Either way, I'm happy with where this is going. That's the video. I may be back later today with another one. If not, I'll be back tomorrow. I will see you then.